People often overlook that everything that was not born or grown was once mined. It might be an inconvenient truth, but without mining, there wouldn't be any buildings or bridges, no railway tracks or fridges, no smartphones or electric buses.
I think I have a piece.
Yeah, let's check.
Our fight against climate change also relies on mining. Lithium, for example, is a crucial element for batteries powering electric mobility and stationary energy storage.
7% of lithium oxide.
Yeah, this is...
And it's not like Europe lacks lithium in its bedrock.
We have different kind of lithium in Europe. Spodumene like this, that is very important, and lithium as zinwaldite in Germany, jadarite in Serbia, and many other.
Is lithium everywhere then?
Yeah, in Europe it could be self-sufficient in terms of lithium for sure.
So why don't we have any operational mines in Europe?
Yeah, quite interesting. They just see the disadvantage, they don't see the advantage.
Climate change is the defining challenge of our time. To move to a climate-neutral world, the total demand for critical minerals is projected to triple between today and 2040. Of all the critical minerals, lithium stands out with 8-fold growth. These critical minerals are vital for wind turbines, solar panels, batteries, and electric vehicles, along with many other clean technologies essential for advancing toward a climate-neutral society.
The International Energy Agency has calculated that we need 50 new mines for lithium by 2030. And in Europe, we have loads of potential. And yet, in the real world, we still haven't got any single operational lithium mine in Europe itself. And that is a huge paradox for me.
It is a paradox, as the race for critical minerals takes center stage on the global geopolitical agenda. Europe can no longer afford to remain passive. US President Trump has enforced a critical minerals for security deal with Ukraine, while also eyeing Greenland's untapped resources. Meanwhile, China holds significant stakes in the Democratic Republic of Congo and continues to dominate the lithium market. Although Australia and Chile may possess larger lithium reserves than China, the Chinese have secured almost 60% of global lithium refining capacity and 75% of global battery production. To avoid sleepwalking into the abyss, Europe's time to act is now.
So this map corroborates the huge potential for lithium mining in Europe. We have deposits spread from Portugal right up to Finland. But if you look at the size of the deposits, two of the crucial ones are here in Serbia and there in Portugal. And both of these mines face quite a lot of opposition, local opposition and even national opposition.
Mining is needed, but not always wanted. Take Portugal, for example. A number of locals in Covas de Barroso have voiced strong concerns about lithium extraction in their region. And in Serbia, an EU candidate member state, protests have been elevated from the local to the national level. Many Serbs argue that the mine will destroy their environment and agriculture. It just shows that Europe's climate targets often conflict with local or national demands for environmental and cultural preservation. Dr. Peter Tom Jones wants to dig deeper into this lithium paradox. That's why he's traveling to the Barroso region in the north of Portugal, where one of the largest lithium deposits in Europe is situated.
Hallo, goedenavond, alstublieft.
Jones is the director of the KU Leuven Institute for Sustainable Metals and Minerals in Belgium, an internationally renowned interdisciplinary institute recognized for its expertise in lithium.
This is a copy of the 5-liter one, just a bigger version of.
Beyond his academic work, Jones has spent over 30 years passionately advocating for a just transition to a climate-neutral society. However, He has come to recognize that this transition inevitably requires the extraction of critical metals. This raises an essential question. Can mining be conducted responsibly? And can Europe lead the way as a global pioneer?
The problem is that mining has such a bad reputation all over the world. And yet, in Europe, we can do it in a different way. We can do it in an ESG-friendly way. And that's what I want to find out, to see how it can be done in a better way.
The first stop on his journey is Boticas, where the headquarters of Savannah Resources are situated. Savannah is a British mining company listed on the London Stock Exchange. This junior company has one mining project in its portfolio, the controversial Barroso lithium project. If all goes according to plan, the first of 4 open-pit mines will commence operations in 2027.
The project is going to have 4 pits, and this is just a representation of the timeline of the project. So we are going to operate 4 pits in sequence, so one by one, and as we open a new one, we backfill the previous one. So in the model, the location of the first one would be right here, then we work on this one, then we would come to this one, and then finally to this pit right here. And as you can see, 2 of the pits here are already rehabilitated.
The trend in mining is to go underground towards invisible mines. So why did you go for open pits?
I mean, from a technical perspective, the resource is on the surface. So it doesn't warrant an underground mine here.
Okay, but I do see villages which are relatively close by this open pit in particular. So I guess they're worried about dust, noise, vibrations, water issues. So how do you deal with those complaints?
I mean, we've already identified and mapped out a lot of the concerns from the population, and you mentioned a few of them. Of course, we have mitigation measures in place to manage and mitigate and minimize all of those negative aspects or negative impacts, whether it's sound, dust, or air quality, for example.
Well, we need to see it before we can believe it. So let's go to this place and speak to the people.
The mining activities would occur in the Barroso region, an area renowned for its strong cultural identity and recognized as World Agricultural Heritage. Despite its agricultural significance, the region also has a long tradition of mining.
This region is the tip of a protected area recognized for its agricultural heritage. And what's being recognized is the traditional agricultural practices.
And the resistance will say that you'll be destroying that way of life.
Yeah, I mean, those who protest the project claim that there's a risk that they're going to lose that recognition. But it's interesting to know that that classification, that recognition was granted in 2018 with already a series of mining projects in the area of the sort of protected area. So it's not at all incompatible, besides the fact that we're going to be occupying a very, very small portion of that area.
While driving to Covas de Barroso, Peter Tom Jones and Thomas Gauthier passed through numerous semi-deserted villages. The younger generation of Portugal has left the northern part of the country to pursue education in coastal cities or abroad, and they have not returned due to the lack of jobs.
So you reckon the mine will provide new economic developments here then?
I mean, it's definitely going to create stimulation of the local economy. I mean, with more people coming, you're going to have more need for restaurants, more need for small grocery stores, and that's going to create stimulation
and these
in these
mine
villages.
workers, they will come and live in these houses again then?
I mean, they might if the owners are, ready to rent out their house to the mining community, to the mining workers. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous place to live anyway.
It's in my opinion, the nicest viewpoint
in Portugal?
In the area.
So here we see the beautiful valleys. Where will your pits come?
So there are 4 pits. The main pit will be in the second valley down that direction, closer to the little village of Romain, which is 580 meters from our biggest pit.
Will they see the pit?
They're going to see the pit to some extent, especially at the top levels of the pit. They're also going to see some of the waste rock storage that's going to be there. But it's going to be quite hidden in the vegetation and in the structure of the landscape.
And what's the reaction of the people there?
Some of them are not very happy. This is where the main voices of protest come from Romain and Covas de Barroso.
When I hear Covas de Barroso, I think about the resistance I see in all these newspaper articles.
Yeah, well, this is where it comes from. And because people are concerned and people are afraid. And that's what makes the work worthwhile.
Well, I want to go and speak to these people. Do you think they will be willing to speak to me?
I'm sure they're going to be willing to engage and share their views and their position on this project because it affects them and it's normal.
Can I expect a friendly encounter?
My experience is that it's always friendly, if not passionate, encounters.
Finnish researcher Toni Eerola is accompanying Jones on this journey. As a social geologist, Eerola is investigating local resistance to the mining of energy transition metals in Europe. His proficiency in Portuguese proves particularly useful.
Nós estamos imparcialmente fazendo um documentário sobre. Nós não representamos.
Stop filming, okay? Because if you go use this, I have record too.
However, the meeting with the local opposition highlights the deep distrust against the project.
Eu falo português, pode falar comigo.
Pronto, nós sabemos exatamente o que está a fazer e qual é a intenção deste trabalho. Por isso, não é bem-vindo. É uma falta de respeito com uma comunidade que está a lutar e a sofrer por causa de uma companhia de ladrões e de mentirosos. E vocês virem cá compactuarem com eles, ao contrário do que eles dizem.
Nós já fomos convidos um monte de vezes e nós já estamos cheios assim, até aqui. Por isso, eu aconselho-os que vão embora.
The researchers are prevented from freely engaging with other local residents in Covas de Barroso, making it impossible to accurately gauge public sentiment regarding the lithium mining project. What is clear is that the project is highly sensitive, with some locals feeling that their livelihoods are under threat.
So, Tony, I was not expecting this kind of hostility. How do you explain that?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised also. But anyway, we can expect anything in these kind of situations.
So the emotions were really tough.
Yeah. And that happens. Activism, the emotions, they are part of activism, a strong part of that.
But they're really convinced that lithium is a bad thing. They do not see this as part of a clean tech transition to climate neutrality.
Yeah, it seems to be quite absolute view. You know, and the problem is that mine would be close to that community, but then they refuse to recognize all this green energy transition. They don't believe in that.
There's also a deliberate attempt not to engage with us, not to give their opinion.
Yeah, well, they spoke a lot with us, but not in front of cameras. They don't accept that and refused totally to do that.
So you see a lack of trust even in scientists like us.
Yeah, journalists, government, researchers, it's, you know, it's a kind of systematic.
So if they don't trust us, what about the company that is trying to do this?
That's the worst case scenario for them to trust in a company that intends to mine in their lands.
So do you think the community engagement strategy of the company can work in such a circumstance?
Not with these people probably, but for the rest of community, I think that it's worth of trying to do that.
Yes, we have work to do.
In this historic church in Mechelen in Belgium, Jones seeks to find common ground between civil society academia, public authorities, and the mining industry.
So we'll now kick off with the SLO panel events on responsible mining in Europe.
The responsible mining model aims to transcend past questionable practices, focusing on minimizing environmental harm, ensuring fair labor conditions, and involving local communities as real beneficiaries. Jones challenges the industry to prove its commitment to this transformation.
This is a major question that the Serbian opposition is posing. How can any company that goes for such a project outside of the European Union take along the very strict ESG standards it has to follow within the European Union?
However, the social license to operate concept also faces criticism. Here, the protesters highlight the right to say no and stay silent, letting their banners about Portugal and Serbia do the talking. It's a paradox. Civil society grapples with the challenge of balancing local community rights and environmental preservation with the need to mine metals which are essential for the transition to a climate-neutral economy. However, not all environmental organizations are opposed to metal mining. That's a topic addressed by Julia Poliskanova, a prominent figure at Transport and Environment.
Here you go.
A coalition of over 60 environmental NGOs across Europe. While she acknowledges the concerns surrounding the global mining industry, she also recognizes the necessity of lithium mining in Europe.
So you can have different kinds of environmentalism, right? You have organizations which are anti and that operate by protest, and you have environmental organizations that rely on evidence, for example, we as TNE, but also rely very much on engaging. We engage with politicians, we engage with companies to raise the standards of mining, but understand, and we understand, that we still will need a lot more critical minerals for the technologies like batteries and wind turbines.
So you're trying to be constructive in your environmentalism?
We are constructive in the way we approach things, but we're not scared to call companies out. When something's not done right, we say so. However, we understand that only by working together we can build this resilient supply chain in Europe.
But still, many environmental activists simply don't trust these mining companies.
They don't trust them, and sometimes they also have a good reason not to. Over the past, we have a lot of evidence of corruption, of mismanagement, dirty rivers, dangerous chemicals, etc. So there's also a responsibility for the mining companies to break with the past and do things differently.
Before we delve into the necessary changes in the mining industry, we should also reflect on our choices as consumers. Do we really need to buy an oversized electric SUV every 4 years? Perhaps it's time to rethink our economic model, one that promotes circularity through eco-design, thereby reducing our dependence on mining.
So instead of mining more lithium, we just need to consume less?
Look, whether we all use electric cars or we go by electric bus or even by train, we will still need critical minerals. We'll need them for steel to make your rail tracks, for example, or lithium to build that bigger battery for a bus. So we will still need a lot of those minerals. But how much more depends on the various choices that we take.
TNE has always been in favor of a modal shift, so how far can that take us?
We have looked at it a lot as TNE. We see that, for example, if more people took a smaller electric vehicle as opposed to a large SUV, we would need to mine a quarter less cumulatively of lithium and nickel by 2050. That's a lot of mines we don't have to build.
And this primary demand can be further reduced by recycling more?
Recycling or broader circularity is also critical. Generally, I hope that we in the world move away from this linear kind of extractive model that we have today and go to a more circular loop. So we mine lithium and nickel once, but then we can constantly recycle it in a loop to produce new batteries.
How far can we jump today with recycled lithium? One of the key players is Umicore. This multinational corporation, headquartered in Belgium, has developed an innovative new technique for recycling batteries.
So something very special is going to happen today, I understand.
Yes, yes. It's the very first time we're ever allowing a film crew inside the battery smelter.
Because it's a secret process.
It's unique and it's a wonderful process.
However, it remains a pilot plant today, as the volumes are insufficient to be profitable.
So here we can say a final goodbye to the battery.
It's the funeral of the batteries.
Yes, it's the end of their productive life, but it's the start of a new life.
And which type of batteries go into the smelter?
We can take a high variety of batteries. I mean, we take batteries from the early generation EVs that are now becoming end of life, not used anymore. But we also take quite a bit of cells that have quality issues during manufacturing.
So this is a proper industrial pilot. How much feed do you need to have a really commercially viable industrial factory?
So we operate at a capacity of 7,000 tons per year, which is equivalent to roughly 20,000 EV batteries. Our ambition is to scale up with capacities that are 10 or 20 times bigger.
And when will those volumes be available?
Well, we believe that in the next decade, so in the 2030s, that the end-of-life market would really pick up, and we have a role to play with such an installation. Now, what's very important is that the volumes that will be on the market then will also be available to us as recyclers. Because today, a majority of these volumes are leaving Europe.
You're saying that they're leaving Europe?
They are leaving Europe because Asian players are much more competitive to take them, and Europe still needs to invest in higher capacity installations with lower costs. And people are hesitating to put on these investments because we lack a clear, coherent policy to support them.
So the European Union still has a lot of work to do.
We're appealing very strongly to policymakers in Europe to make it happen, and not just in a few years from now, but I think the time to act is now.
It's time to visit the smelter with a camera crew and a flying drone. The first time ever.
So what are we seeing here now? Yeah. What's happening?
So when the batteries touch the molten bath inside this furnace, something truly magical happens. In a matter of seconds, the critical raw materials, lithium, nickel, cobalt, are liberated from their original compounds, and they're pushed into separate high-quality products, actually. So nickel cobalt will be collected in the alloy, which is now tapped into the pots. And then lithium is pushed into the gaseous state, and we capture it as a salt, basically, in the fluidest off-gas system.
So what are the main advantages here then?
The main advantages are that it's safe by design. We don't need to open up any battery. It's super efficient, high yield of the critical raw materials, and it's most sustainable. Low carbon footprint, less waste, less chemicals.
So is this a really world-unique process?
Absolutely. So this is a process that's invented and developed here at the center of Europe.
And you think the Chinese want to copy this process?
We know that they want to copy. They're very interested to learn about this technology. I mean, we have Chinese customers as well, so we're in touch with them anyway.
All great news. But in China, new, more affordable types of batteries are emerging. The so-called LFP batteries, or lithium iron phosphate, which do not contain cobalt or nickel. If this battery becomes the new standard, current recycling technologies could face significant pressure.
So here we have it.
Yes. Look at this. This is the white gold. This is industrially produced, technical grade lithium carbonates.
That's fully recycled.
Fully from spent batteries.
Is that the solution for our lithium supply?
Well, we will need mining for the foreseeable future, but recycling is a key addition, is a key strategic component, I think, for Europe to be more independent and more sustainable for its future mobility.
So you can't recycle your way out of the fossil fuel economy?
You have to first produce them and then recycle them, yes.
Even with a major modal shift in transportation and a significant boost in lithium-ion battery recycling, some primary lithium mining will still be necessary to achieve a climate-neutral economy. This aligns with the EU's Critical Raw Materials Act, which sets ambitious targets. At least 10% of lithium sourced from domestic mining, 40% refined within the EU, and 25% recycled domestically. In the European Parliament, Jones meets German MEP Hildegard Bentley, who has played a pivotal role in shaping and refining the Critical Raw Materials Act, where lithium remains a central focus.
So how important is the lithium supply chain for Europe?
It is very important because we are super dependent currently from one supplier, which is China. So we have to face the situation that the supply chain is interrupted. China could hit us hard with stopping lithium imports from China. And we want to prepare for this situation.
So that means domestic mining and refining in Europe?
In Europe, that we have a current inflow of potential battery production in Europe.
And still, there is so much opposition.
Well, there's a lot of hypocrisy in it, because if they face under which conditions lithium is mined in China or in other places of the world, so the standards are much lower. So actually, they are blocking a high standard lithium mining, and for the purpose what they want to have a cleaner transport, a cleaner environment, and this is what we are aiming for. And they also do not see that we have high tech in mining.
Jones witnessed firsthand how mining in the Nordic countries is conducted more responsibly and has evolved into a highly advanced industry, featuring electric trucks and autonomous vehicles powered by green electricity. Moreover, mining at depths beyond 1,000 meters underground bears little resemblance to the hazardous and polluting coal mining of the past.
What's happening here?
The sector has undergone a remarkable digital transformation.
This is where we load and work with hydraulic stone knockers using joysticks, controls of Xbox or PlayStation.
PlayStation at 1,400 meters depth.
Yeah.
Perhaps this explains why the Keliber lithium mining and refining project in the Kaustinen region in Finland faces so little opposition. The company plans to begin mining in 2026. A similar situation exists in central France, where Imerys aims to expand its existing kaolinite mine into an underground lepidolite lithium operation. Opposition to this project remains minimal. Both of these projects were granted the strategic project status by the EU in March 2025. And despite the protests, the Mina de Barroso project in Portugal has also been labelled a strategic project.
So we are seeing a lot of deindustrialization in Europe. Can this lithium supply chain counteract that?
Yeah, it can, because we have seen that the mining sector, which was in decline, with these kind of branching can be revived and can be made a new ecosystem. It's not only mining, it's processing, it's refining, it's recycling. So we have the chance to establish a completely new ecosystem, which is future-proven. But if we do not act now to revive it soon, it will really be in decline and will go away from Europe.
The European Union is expanding its search for lithium outside of its own borders. It has signed a strategic partnership with Serbia, home to Europe's largest and most valuable lithium deposit, a resource capable of supplying batteries for 1 million electric cars or 200,000 electric buses annually. However, the planned lithium mine in Serbia's fertile Jadar Valley has sparked massive protests. What started as local opposition rapidly grew into a nationwide movement, shifting from not in my backyard to not in my country. The contested British-Australian mining company Rio Tinto, which intends to invest 2.3 billion euros in this major underground lithium operation, is facing unprecedented resistance. The ore found in the region, known as jadarite, was officially classified as a new mineral in 2004.
Yes, here we see examples of the drill core and jadarite. So if you look at this core, the white dots that you see here are the jadarite.
Compared to other lithium ores present in Europe, such as spodumene in Portugal, Spain and Finland, lepidolite in France, or zinnwaldite in Germany and the Czech Republic, jadarite is easier to process. It does not require energy-intensive thermal pre-treatment or extremely harsh chemical conditions. From a purely environmental perspective, jadarite processing would not pose more but fewer risks, according to metallurgical experts.
So here we see the valley.
The now famous Jadar Valley. From here you can see where we intend, if everything goes well, to build the Jadar project. If you look at that line, and maybe I can explain it here, we are talking about a surface area of 220 hectares above ground. No, that's not big.
It's not big?
If you think about, for example, the Kolubara mine in another part of Serbia, which is an open pit mine, that's 60,000.
Oh, you must be joking.
So, no.
That's just the footprint you see on top.
Yes, so that's the benefit you get from an underground mine. So if you look at this picture, imagine that this is that area here. The mine's underground. You don't see it. You see only...
It's the invisible mine.
Yes, exactly, an invisible mine, which is completely underground, so everything around the mine remains the same. It is a very modern mine that will be operated from a control room. Everything will be controlled electronically. So when you think about Jadar, the area that maybe people will see from this point if Jadar is built is rather small. Everything around the area and around the fence will continue to be the way it is because we will make sure that the farming exists exactly the same. There is no land subsidence.
And still there is so much protest.
Yes, there are protests. Unfortunately, the narrative has been based on disinformation, and what we are struggling is actually to see a fact-based dialogue and discussion about the merits of this project.
During the interview, members of the local resistance group, Nedamo Jadar, keep passing by, filming the Serbian head of Rio Tinto while making their feelings clear.
Džaba obilazite, gospođo.
Džaba, gospođo.
Nema ovdje ništa za vas. Ovo je naš životni prostor. Čuli, bit ćemo ovo životima da branimo.
Baš tako, gospođo.
Ako hoćete da padne krv, onda može.
But why are these local farmers so vehemently opposed to the Jadar project? Nedamo Jadar, meaning we won't give up Jadar, is unwavering in its resistance against Rio Tinto. And it's clear they will not back down.
So what is your main concern with this lithium project by Rio Tinto?
Pa nema brige. Rudnika neće biti. Naše je samo da podignemo masu stanovnika, da izvedemo 200.000 ljudi na ulice i oni moraju da odu.
But the president wants the mining project to happen.
Pa predsjednik želi da se rudarski projekat Jadar otvori, jer je on glavni lobista Rio Tinta.
Are you afraid of environmental pollution? Is that the main cause?
Ako bi došlo do realizacije projekta Jadra, života ovdje nema.
Isn't it sad that you have these huge lithium resources in this country and you can't use them to become rich in this country?
Pa obogatila se Evropa. Evropa bi dobila litijumske baterije, zdravu životnu sredinu, oni bi se vozali u tim automobilima na struju, a Srbija bi postala evropska deponija i dobili bi razne bolesti, razne kancere.
It's striking to see the lengths to which Nedamo Jadar is prepared to go to halt the lithium mine.
Mi smo spremni svoje živote da damo za ovu borbu protiv kompanije Rio Tinto.
What do you mean with sacrificing your own life?
Pa znači da ćemo leći pod bagere, da ćemo ih zapaliti bilo šta.
In Serbia, the local protest by Nedamo Jadar has grown into a massive national movement, attracting a diverse array of opponents against the mining project.
Je li moguće da iza ovih vrata sede ljudi kojima je bitniji samo još jedan mandat?
The opposition is remarkably diverse. Local farmers, urban environmentalists, Belgrade scientists, and Serbian nationalists, all united against the project. In Belgrade, Jones meets anthropologist Jelena Vasiljevic, who may shed some light on why so many Serbs oppose the mine.
So how do you explain these complex, massive protests here in Belgrade?
Part of it is it's against mining of lithium, so part of it has to do with that and with different arguments about why the other project is complicated and complex, but part of it has to do with the dissatisfaction with this political regime and how this whole process has been conducted in non-transparent and non-democratic way. So many grievances are actually being articulated in this protest.
The lack of trust in the government here is very loud, it's very clear. Where is it coming from?
We also have bad experiences with previous projects. So we had many other projects that were declared of national interest, and they were all conducted in non-transparent and non-democratic ways.
If Rio Tinto would be a Serbian company, do you think the project would have been okay?
Partially it has to do with bad history of Rio Tinto. That is true. So it's not only about economy, it's not only about how you use sustainable raw materials, it's how you what you politically do with it. So this is why people are distrustful, and I would say they are right.
Anthropologist Jelena Vasiljevic attributes the growing unrest to the current regime, which according to her and many protesters, is sliding towards autocracy under President Vučić. This is evident in the harsh suppression of protests in Belgrade and the unlawful arrests of many activists. The movement continues to gain momentum with the support of thousands of Serbian students. The Jadar lithium project has become deeply intertwined with the political opposition to Vučić.
Should there be a referendum on this project?
No referendum. I don't think it's a good idea because referendum, it's always depending on how you frame the question.
Then you get the Brexit discussion.
Not only that, but political climate then takes a lot. I mean, political climate is important, and you also have to have informed public. How can you run a referendum when citizens are not informed enough? Now they're staging something that looks like an open debate, even though we know that everything is already done. So we needed to be more prepared for that.
Is the deep distrust in Rio Tinto's lithium project based on genuine concerns, or is it also fueled by disinformation, allegedly spread to serve political goals, such as ousting President Vučić's autocratic regime? Rio Tinto claims that fake news plays a significant role. At their information center in Loznica, they've even set up a fake news wall.
You see a lot of photos of open pit mine. We know this is an underground mine and it will not look like that. You see the explosions which are connected to the open pits and how people are scared. Here you have information that we will use sulfuric acid on 250 degrees, which is not true. We're using it at 90 degrees, as anyone can see from the information publicly available, that we will destroy the water sources for 85 million people, which is underground in Jadar. It is very easy to say something like you will burn the skin and lungs of people because you will have sulfuric rains, which is completely not true. But explaining the technology and how you use the sulfuric acid, it takes time.
It's easy to throw the mud at someone, but it's difficult to clean the shirts again. It
Exactly.
takes much longer. It's the
Exactly.
second law of thermodynamics.
Exactly.
What do you then do about this? What is your strategy?
The first thing is we organize community meetings to meet with the community face-to-face. We've met more than 3,000 people so far in the past year. And we've committed to radical transparency. That is, we put all the information on our webpage, respond to all media inquiries, and rebuttal everything that's fake news.
Misinformation, disinformation, and the lack of trust are also issues Savannah claims to be struggling with. In Portugal, lithium is often perceived as toxic, despite ongoing lithium mining in the region, albeit not for battery production.
Okay, so this is the NOAA pit, which is currently being operated for the purpose of extracting lithium and quartz and feldspar for the ceramics industry right now.
So basically, there is already lithium mining
There
in
is
this
already,
region.
exactly. There is lithium mining happening right in front of us.
So why do people think it's toxic then?
Well, I mean, it's issues of perception. Issues of perception because people don't understand what lithium is. They don't understand how it's transformed to become a battery, for example. And they're very much unaware of the fact that they're in contact with lithium on a daily basis. I mean, just if we look at just a ceramic cup, people drink coffee every day, they put lithium to their lips. The rock that's used to make this ceramic could potentially have come from this mine. And that's one of the major challenges that we have in our engagement with the community. It's trying to, clarify any misunderstandings, using facts in order to explain exactly what you just said. There's already lithium being mined here and in other parts in Portugal. And it's not different from what we're going to be doing, except we're going to be doing it at a larger scale.
Fighting feelings with facts is not an easy method.
It's not easy, but as long as we keep giving facts and we build trust with the communities, those feelings are going to become feelings of understanding, acknowledgement, and hopefully acceptance one day.
Building trust with local communities remains a significant challenge in Portugal. In Dornelas, another nearby civil parish where the mine is set to be developed, residents can speak more freely than in Covas do Barroso, allowing Jones to hear a wider range of perspectives.
Pensa que é uma oportunidade para essas vilas, esse projeto?
Eu acho que sim, eu não sou nada contra. Não vejo o que é que traz de mal para aqui. Quando as coisas vierem para aqui, a gente já está após a terra.
Ok. Muito bem, obrigado.
Chega mesmo à beira das aldeias e vão ainda abolir na nossa água. Eles têm a preferência de chegar até às nossas águas, porque nos vêm contaminizar as águas que nós estamos a beber, para a nossa alimentação e para o diário, para animais, para tudo.
Qual seria a posição aqui? Seria mais a favor ou contra?
Como eu digo, há pessoas a favor, há pessoas a contra. Não é? Mas acho que há aqui em Dornelas, na freguesia de Dornelas, que há uma parte que é a favor e parece que é a maior parte que é a favor. Mas não se sabe o resto da posição, porque há muitas pessoas que são contra. Nós vivemos numa terra que foi mineira antigamente.
Quais são as suas preocupações maiores em relação ao meio ambiente desse projeto?
Uma das minhas preocupações é os relações de água. Esses preocupam muito.
Água.
Sim.
In southern European countries like Portugal, water usage is a major concern. With frequent forest fires, locals worry if there will be enough water left for agriculture.
So one of the main concerns I hear all the time is that you're going to use so much water and this region doesn't have any water.
Yeah, well, actually, this region has a lot of water. It rains a lot in this region. And then rain is where we're going to be collecting our water for this mine. We're not going to be collecting water from the river, and we're not going to be rejecting any kind of water into the river. And we're going to be using rainwater through water retention systems, over here, and over here, to collect the rainwater, which will be used to supply the mine.
And will you then recycle the water once it's in the system?
Absolutely. It's going to be working in a closed circuit where 85% of the water used will be recycled and reused into the mine.
Why are you losing 15% then?
Well, 15% is lost through evaporation and is also lost through the humidity of the material that's transported out of the mine.
With the urgent need to mitigate climate change, the mining industry has been given a crucial role in human history. However, to avoid repeating past mistakes, continuous dialogue with local communities and civil society is essential. In the Barroso region, such a dialogue has been challenging so far, but things are starting to change. Early 2025, a new association, Associação Futuro do Barroso, has been founded. This association, which also includes members from the Covas do Barroso village itself, does not take a position for or against the project. Instead, the organization is dedicated to fostering dialogue and collaborative solutions towards a responsible mining project.
Sabemos e estamos todos conscientes que a exploração do lítio vai trazer algumas dificuldades, muitos problemas ao concelho, mas nós temos que saber transformar esta dificuldade numa grande oportunidade de desenvolvimento.
In Serbia, skepticism and distrust still prevail. However, there may be a solution to overcoming Serbia's lithium paradox. In countries where trust in the government is low, involving a third-party auditor could be a crucial step forward.
So I believe they already do so, because I think if you do want to produce any of your reports, for environmental impact assessment, for example, you need to have third-party assessments. But I do think it would be very helpful to engage with IRMA, so the Initiative for Responsible Mining Assurance, and to undergo a self-audit and following that the proper audit, because it would really show to the global NGO community, first of all, transparently, how they're doing things, and secondly, that they are trying to do things better.
IRMA has developed comprehensive standards for responsible mining. These standards address key areas such as business integrity, environmental stewardship, social responsibility, and community engagement. They were created in collaboration with civil society organizations, workers, environmental groups, and industry experts.
So IRMA could build up trust in that way.
IRMA can help with the global community to show that their intentions are going in the right direction.
If the EU wants to evolve to mining practices that are genuinely supported by the public, IRMA could serve as a key source of inspiration for an improved, rather than weakened, legislative framework for mining in Europe. For Professor Lima from the University of Porto, the situation is clear. Mining could give Portugal and Europe a well-needed boost in a rapidly changing geopolitical world. He hopes NIMBY can be gradually replaced by PIMBY, from not in my backyard to please in my backyard.
To mine or not to mine, that is now the question for the Portuguese people.
Yeah, as you said, yes, we have the best resources in spodumene, and spodumene is being mined for 50 years for lithium industry.
It's proven technology.
It's a proven technology. It's something that works really, and it's opportunity for Portugal to take advantage of these resources to try to do the lithium value chain from mining, the refinery, and then we have a very nice industry of automobile in Portugal.
And lithium has the power to bring back the Portuguese to this country.
This village that we were seeing, when I started to work here, they have much more people. And now they are decreasing the population. And I see this not as a threat, but to opportunity to bring some people to these areas to live here with families, to work here in industry. It's an opportunity.
So Portugal is now at the crossroads. You go either left or you go right. Do you think it will happen?
Well, I believe that in some of the places it will happen because the people will understood that the advantage are more than the disadvantage. Of course, mining, it has disadvantage, but they can bring a lot of advantage. It's what we need to communicate to local people.
With the EU backing multiple strategic lithium mining projects, Europe seems to mean business. But mining alone won't solve the problem. Without refining capacity, Europe remains dependent on third countries like China. Right now, lithium refining is almost non-existent across the continent. But things are changing. Germany has recently opened a small semi-refinery, while the Finnish company Metso is developing innovative cleaner technologies to refine lithium from spodumene.
And here we have the spodumene, heat-treated spodumene sample from Finland.
It could be the same as the Portuguese material.
Yes, absolutely.
This offers an environmentally friendly alternative to China's dominant lithium processing method.
And is it unique for Europe or for the world?
Yes, in very many ways. I mean, I would say that this is the Europe's best pilot plant.
Probably the best pilot plant in
Probably
Europe.
the best pilot plant, yes.
It's still a pilot plant, but the potential of this technology is immense. And the timing couldn't be more crucial, with China's grip on global lithium refining showing no signs of slowing down.
So here we see your pilot reactor. How big will the real stuff be?
Well, it will be about 1,000 times bigger.
1,000 times bigger?
Yes.
And what makes this process so superior to the conventional Chinese process?
There are actually two things. It's the waste generation. Generally, it's very low, and then water consumption is low because we are recycling all the water in the process.
So is this then the European way to solve the problems?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a game-changing technology in lithium hydroxide production, since we are not producing any harmful waste. It can be all recycled. We are not producing sodium sulfate, which is the issue with the conventional processing. And then we also recycle all the water. Practically all the water that we put in the process is purified and recycled.
So here in this new lithium refining process, they found the holy grail type of solution. Rather than using sulfuric acid as leaching agent, which generates the sodium sulfate waste stream, they work with a very simple product called soda ash. This soda ash allows you to get the lithium out of the spodumene concentrate and provide you with a very clean process which is almost zero waste. That's a huge step forward for lithium refining in the Western world. So this is the white gold coming out of your process?
Yes, this is the lithium product that can be used now in electric vehicles.
So this is coming out of your pilot plant, when we will see the real stuff coming out of an industrial plant?
Yeah, there is a Caliber project which is under construction in Finland, and it will be started up mid-2025.
So that would be the first lithium battery-grade quality we can produce in Europe?
Yeah, that's correct.
Because in Europe we definitely need refineries. At this moment we don't really have any large-scale refineries. So this is something we cannot continue like that.
No, and I guess this technology opens up the possibility to do it in a sustainable manner also.
So you will be conquering all of Europe?
At least, yeah. And the rest of the world.
To complete a full European mine to EV value chain, battery and car manufacturers should also be included. In Serbia, this scenario is unfolding. Car manufacturer Stellantis plans to build its electric Grande Panda in Serbia. Additionally, Serbian battery manufacturer 11ES is prepared to open new battery factories in the country when the lithium mine is operational.
It means a revolution in economic growth in the country. And actually this product you see here, it's the first LFP battery made in Europe several years ago already. And it's lithium iron phosphate, which actually has lithium carbonate in itself, which basically connects the whole value chain.
So Jadar will produce the lithium carbonate for your batteries?
That's the hope for the future, that we have everything local and that we basically have the first LFP value chain outside of Asia present in Europe.
Because now you are dependent on China for your lithium
That's
carbonate?
correct. Today everything is basically coming from China because it's a single market where everything is created from the raw materials. But it's about to change in the next years. We have to be smart about it. And if we do the right things, we will have one of the largest economic opportunities of our lifetime.
So how many jobs are we talking about in Serbia?
We're talking 20,000 jobs in Serbia.
20,000?
20,000 new jobs created only by the battery value chain industry.
And let's not forget it's supporting the transition to climate neutrality.
It's absolutely the essence of climate neutrality. And as you know, this will not only be used in cars, this thing will be used in buses, in trucks, in construction machinery, in your home, in your storage, in large industrial solar parks. So it's the central item of the energy storage revolution we're about to face.
So how much material do you need to produce one EV battery?
Okay, in this kind of quarry, you need around 1 meter by 1 meter, and then 2 meters, 2 cubic meters. Then it's around 6 tons of material.
6,000 kilograms of rock for one
battery. Yeah.
So that is Europe's lithium paradox. We have it, but we don't seem to mine it.
Yeah, it's like that. I think that there was a wrong communication at some point, that the people don't understand that even that Europe can be importing from China. It's not an obligation. We can do it itself in Europe, from mining to the complete lithium value chain. The people look to a white rock and they see a problem. I see this white rock as some solution for the inlands of Portugal.
So clearly Europe has the technology to mine, refine and recycle lithium. But the clock is ticking. The Chinese are not holding back in the supply chain. Climate change is spiraling out of control. So we need to act fast, while at the same time respecting local communities to be part of this storyline. So we need to make haste slowly.